Another phenomenal episode of Foundation this week. And again, we get a fairly linear, kind of straightforward episode that I think we've pretty much gotten over the hump of all the things that we need to remember from season one for the most part. Not completely, because there's still a couple of gaps here and there. But this one combined, we've got the general, we've got Harry Seldon and what's going on there with Gale, and then we've got the other timeline that's happening as well with Emperor Day. So there's multiple things going on in this one. We're not going to spoil anything before the fold because, as always, if you haven't watched one of my reviews before, I do talk about all the things and the whole episode. So this is your spoiler warning. Walk away now. Go watch the episode if you haven't already. But if you have, we're going to get into it right now. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 is your countdown. You have been warned. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon as we dive into this week's episode. So without further ado, I think the most interesting um, subplot to me right now is Emperor Day or Brother Day, going to this general who he needs to look into the Foundation to find out if they're actually a threat or not. And this guy's been sentenced to hard labor for like 6 years um, because he disobeyed a direct order from Day and made him look weak and in front of everyone. And so the punishment was, you're going off to hard labor. And by the way, we're going to kill your husband, and you're going to do all that hard labor, knowing that we killed your husband, and there's nothing you can do about it now except for suffer the consequences. So when Day's droid shows up, and I cannot remember her name, but the droid that he's having an affair with, who's been the advisor to the Cleons forever, she shows up on this planet, and this ex-general knows that something's up, and he's like, "Oh, so you need me for something?" And she's like, "Yes." And all of these reasons why he probably is going to decline, and of course, Day in the previous episode gave her permission to kill him if he wasn't going to say yes. But ultimately, the final bargaining chip that Day brings to the table via her as the patsy is that apparently the general's husband is still alive and they lied to just more severely punish him. So this now gives him a reason to come out of, and be like, well, okay. Now, what's really interesting to me about all of this is as they get back together, and he's going to command the was it the 20th fleet or the 420th fleet? I forget. I think it's the 20th or 200. Don't remember the name of the fleet. It doesn't matter. As he goes back to commanding his fleet, we have a conversation with his husband who's still alive now, and these guys realize how bad the Empire is, how bad the Emperor is. They know it. They know that many peoples live under the boot heel of a capricious, you know, series of clones, and they hate the Empire. They really do. But they also realize that they can't escape it. And so they're going to do the best they can from within that structure to do what they can to save the people, um, and put the people of the empire first. And his crew even mirrors that. There's when he gets back on the ship and he's getting ready to captain it to go off to dive into the Foundation. And one of the crew members mentions, the only reason that the empire maintains us in the fold is through a stranglehold on our population. So even the crew of his ship share the sentiments that the empire is this corrupt, horrible place to be, but they can't escape, and so they have to suffer under its rule and they have to obey for fear of punishment or genocide. It's a terrifying prospect. So for me, that was the main storyline of this week's episode that I personally really enjoyed. Now, the other subplot is super interesting where Harry Seldon gets Gale and I'm going to forget her name right now, the daughter, to go off to this planet that they think is the location of the second Foundation, but it turns out that the Radiant has commanded Seldon to come here for some reason. And when they get here, it's a dead planet um, that used to be a mining planet, and there's remnants of these droids all over the place. And apparently, what happened was those droids were mining droids, and they mined this planet for a very long time until they drained every drop of palladium from it, and then Empire turned the droids on the population and killed the population. So it just left a lifeless husk behind. But within this like mountain structure is the 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 digital person that Harry had interacted with within the Prime Radiant. She appears to be here. What she is another question entirely, but she takes Harry's digital body and somehow, we don't know how, transforms it and puts it into a physical body. And so there's a moment here where machines are coming back to life and they're seeking out the one life form that's on the planet, and they realize as they're sitting on the ship that, oh my God, that's Harry. And so they go swoop down and get Harry. It's off this amazing hand statue, which is in the thumbnail of my image here, of this video. So that was a cool thing because now Harry's got a body. We don't know how it happened. We also don't know who she is, um, who that creature is, or I don't know if she's a creature. Is she an android? Is she a physical manifestation of destiny, time? I don't know, because even Gale, shouts up to the statue as she's rescuing Harry's physical body, "What are you?" And the figure doesn't respond and just walks off into the depths of the caves. So very interesting subplot going on there with that. Um, and of course you have Day. What's up, everybody? Quick commercial break here to give it a shout out to our guild champions, who are the highest tier memberships here on YouTube: Ancient Entity, Assassin Gamer 94, Bubbleonia Rising, Crazy's Relative, Mujin, and Remedy. Thanks so much for the highest tier membership. And thanks to all of the members who support the channel, because you keep me doing this full time. You too can become a supporter if you're new here. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you never miss an update. Join as a member. There's 3 different tiers. We do lots of special stuff, private polls, private videos. You get a shout out if you're the highest tier membership, but you can also do one-off donations in the form of super chats on any live stream or premiere you see, and of course super thanks on any upload or YouTube short. Whatever you can contribute, it's great. Keeps me on the air full time, keeps the cats fed, keeps the homestead running. Anyway, back to the video, everybody. Negotiating with the general and also continuing to sort of piss off his friends, his friends, his 2 brothers, because he's doing things outside of what he should be doing. And then we have the whole Hober Mallow storyline, which is basically he's an ex-priest who failed the training, and now he's become like this amazing thief smuggler. And these 2 clerics go off to find him, and they find him, about to be executed on this planet because he got caught stealing a gem from the local ruler, and over the course of it all, he manages to escape execution and tries to steal the ship that the 2 clerics came on, but they end up on the ship with him because he doesn't quite manage to ditch them, and we're left with basically them taking him back to Terminus to face whatever is waiting at the vault, because the vault has said Hober Mallow. And also that was the name that was mentioned in the vision that Gale had in the previous episode with the crazy dude who's also a telepath. Anyway, those are the main storylines for this week's episode. I think we're firmly into the culmination of um, getting us past the opening point, and now we're firmly in the heart of like this first story arcs, because this was episode 3. So moving to next week, I expect to see continuation of this, maybe some answers to a couple of questions, but for the most part, I think we're firmly settled into the storylines that we're going to be pursuing for the rest of for the rest of the season, and I'm firmly in the passenger seat. Happy to be there. Love to hear your thoughts in the episode. Drop them down below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. I'll see everybody in next week's episode. Until then, stay safe. Happy viewing.